Hey folks, John with Complete Technology Solutions, your friend in the computer business. So tonight we're going to do another not only highly requested video, but one that I have been aching to do ever since we first looked at this gun. Let's jump right into this. All right, guys, so a couple of things you may notice here, and I want to start you off with an interesting story. So you'll notice that Stumpy, the normal red camera that I have up here, is not here. And in fact, what's on the stage right now was the original stage camera that I used to use a couple years ago. There is a reason for that. This weekend, Luke and I were actually out at a gun show. First one we've actually attended with the Less Than Lethals, and it was hugely popular. We had a great time. I kind of expected to get some pushback from these, but we really didn't. People were really, really cool. However, while I was gone, apparently, and a lot of you guys know that the studio here is set up in our flea market. I do have a door that separates it from the rest of the flea market. Somebody decided to walk into my studio and steal Stumpy off of the stage. Literally unplugged the power cable, which is right here, unplugged the power cable and stole Stumpy and walked out the door, and not a soul saw him. So you got to love that. So if any of you guys feel like you want to contribute to the channel to help out with that, you're more than welcome to hit that button down there. Otherwise, like and share the videos, guys. That really helps me more than anything else. Obviously, now I got to buy another Stumpy, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So today we're going to upgrade one of my favorite cheap, I'll say cheap, self-defense items, which is the HDP50. Now, you guys will notice that actually I took it out of that original horrible cardboard box thing and put it into an actual case, and it does it a lot of justice. This is the way it ought to be. So, in order to do that, now I have got a Power Kit 50, guys. I have a theory about this, though. So you're supposed to be able to use the Power Kit 50 to go ahead and upgrade this weapon to get it up around the 20 to 30 joule range like we did over on the HDR 50. And if you missed that video, I'm going to go ahead and toss a link up here for you. But I think that that's not necessary on this weapon. After doing a little bit of looking at the internal diagnostics and the way it's set up, I think we can get away with upgrading this without having to have the kit, although I do have it in case we need it. So let me go ahead. I'm going to set the stage up here, guys. Honestly, I hope Stumpy's going to get good videos of this, guys. I'm going to try. We'll see what happens. So, all right. Be right back. So what we're going to do is, you guys can see I've actually got the chronograph set up here. We're going to do the exact same shooting down here. Once again, guys, we are not concerned about accuracy. I just want to get some pre-modification FPS readings on this. So we're going to take our HDP50, and I've already got a C02 cartridge in here. We're going to give it a shot. And as you can see by the little tip there, it did charge up. All right, guys, just like last time, I'm going to be standing back behind the camera and firing through a very small gap. So please bear with me here. Let's see if we can get a reading. .368, 366, 366. Was that three? Oh, man. Let's see if I can get it move a little different, unless we're getting three 366s in a row. And that was an error. Okay, let me put in a couple more. I want to make sure we're getting some nice, fair readings here, guys, so bear with me 1 second. We're going to put in 5 more rounds on the same CO2 cartridge and see if we get any drop-off. Here we go. .388. Error. 371. 365. 356. And out. All right, now, guys, I want to be totally fair here. I want to let you know what we're doing. So you guys could see the velocities on that were fantastic. Those were ranging in that 300, almost 400 range. Well, what we're firing is the actual rubber kinetic balls that are designed for the HDP50. Now, they've got almost the exact same weight as the standard riot balls we're using. Almost. They're a tad bit lighter, which means that's why we're getting those velocities you're seeing down here. But that's going to be our baseline. That being said, let's get back in here. Let's mod it. And let's see what we get. I'm actually kind of excited after seeing that. Here we go. All right, guys, to do this conversion, what we're going to have to do is, this is a little more difficult than the other ones. We're going to lay the gun down on its left side. So if it's facing you on its left side, we're going to lay it down. And we're going to support it up on some sort of an object because we're going to need to knock 4 pins through the gun to get to the mechanism on the inside. So first, let's go ahead and take out our valve. And then we're going to set that aside. Now, what we're going to do is, if you can see down here, I'm going to try to show the old Stumpy. You've got a pin here, 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 and here that have to come out to do this conversion. Now, I have another theory on that, but we're not going to get too much into the weeds right now. We're going to stick with the one that I know will actually work, and then we'll put it all back together and see what it does. So, all right. Now, the couple ways you can do this. You can actually use a punch to punch the pin through, or I'm just going to use a little tiny hammer, and I'm going to use a little tiny nail. That's the idea. All right, so let's go ahead and start right here by the trigger guard. Put it right on it and pop it through. And you see that just came right through, guys. Very simple. All right, so let's go ahead and let's pop this one through. Yeah, the nail thing seems to be working out pretty darn well. I need to get a set of punches for this, especially if we're going to be doing this modification in the future. Okay, let's keep that separate. So that's there, and that's the trigger guard. I want to make sure because obviously they're different sizes, so. All right, popping this one out. There we go. You're going to be real careful to stay on the pin. This one is pretty tight, as I recall. Let's go ahead and get the slide. There we go. And I'm actually curious to see if that's the same size as the other one, guys. And it is not, so the slide is actually longer. Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Before we get too into the weeds here, I'm going to, and you should do this too, either take pictures or make notes of which pin is where. So slide is going to be this guy. And then this one is going to be the grip. And yep, that's going to be the grip. So we're going to call it grip. And if you guys are reading my handwriting, you have my condolences. And this one's going to be the trigger guard. Trigger guard. All right. There we go. Since they're all a little different, it's a good idea to keep those separate so you'll know where they actually came from. All right, and then we have one more, as I recall, after we get that one out. Yep, we got to get this one all the way out. And then this one will come out. This is actually going to release the slide from the front. All right, so let's go ahead and, where's our little nail? There it is. Let's go ahead and get this back one out under the slide. There we go. And I want to get just the right angle, guys, because I really don't want to score this any more than necessary. There we go. Guys, that nail is perfect for this, by the way. I'm having no problems at all getting that through there. A pair of pliers come in handy, but this little hammer just happens to have a pair of pliers on it. So there you go. Is that the same side? Okay, so the slide is the same side as the grip, so that's actually kind of nice. All right, so we got one more to get, and then we will be ready to disassemble. So we're going to get this one right here, and this is right on the Picatinny rail in the front. Go. And, of course, it's going to be there it is, right on through. Yeah, that's the Picatinny rail. All right, now, get that out of the way. At this point, we're ready to disassemble the weapon, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to lift up on the slide, and you're going to see that the entire gun comes out of the base. See that? Comes completely out. We're going to set that aside. Now for here, what you're going to do is you're going to lift up. Careful with the trigger, guys. There is a spring there. Lift up and slide it forward. Be real careful because you don't want that spring popping out. All right. At this point, guys, if you're going to do an extended barrel modification, which is also a very good thing to do on this weapon, this is the time to do that because you can actually do it from this point right here. Now, the theory I have, and we're going to go through this right now, we're going to pull the valve block just like we did last time on the other one. But in order to do that, it's one of the horseshoes, so we have to go in from the other side to pop it out. But the Power Kit 50 actually has that valve insert that sits in this side right here. And I hope Stumpy's actually getting a view of that down in there. And it actually is snug. unlike the HDR50, which was not snug on the valve for the 7.5 Joule. So that's kind of interesting. So I think we may be able to get away with doing the power upgrade on this by just removing that valve. So that's what we're going to do. All right. Now, you can just unscrew this if you were so inclined, and then just pull the valve out. But what I want to do is, this comes apart just like the other one does. And I want to take it apart so you guys can actually see what it looks like. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like 8 screws to take out. So let's get our screwdriver here. And let's see if we can get to taking them out. And we want to make sure, guys, that this is the same situation as the last one, where if the screws are different lengths, it's ideal to leave them in the gun if you can. That's what I'm going to try to do. So we're going to pull it out till it pops the thread so you can hear it. There we go. And I will fast forward this part, and we'll be right back. What we're going to do next is, please excuse me if you can hear that little fan noise. It is hot in here if you can't tell. Welcome to Texas, let me tell you. All right, once we've got all the screws loosened up here, just like on the HDR, we're going to very slowly insert a screwdriver and separate the two halves of this metal all the way around. Guys, I cannot tell you enough. Go slow with this, because you do not want this thing flying apart. Trust me, you got parts flying everywhere. So go nice and slow with it. And as you go around, you're going to feel it loosening up. That's kind of the idea. Make sure that all your screws are backed all the way out, because you don't want to fight a screw. There we go. And as you go back, you're going to see it start to loosen up for you. There we go. All right, guys. So now that we've got it to this point, let me show you where we're at. At this point, you slowly lift this off the top, and that will expose the firing mechanism. Now, you guys will remember, and I want to show Stumpy here. Right here, you've got one spring that controls this trigger mechanism. If you pull this block out right now, that spring will absolutely go flying out. So you don't want to do that. What you can do is release the pressure on that spring just by lifting it up a tiny bit and up and over the trigger. Just like that. That's all you have to do. At that point, you can compress this. Be real careful when you do this, guys. You remember how that pops out, and pull that out. There you go. So this is what we're modifying. All right, so let's go ahead and get our little pliers to open this valve up. And I will show you what we are removing. Yeah, I couldn't believe it that somebody actually would have the guts to come in here and steal Stumpy right out from under somebody's nose. But, you know, I don't know if people are desperate or if they're just getting gutsier, you know. All right, so we're going to take a look in the back here. Hopefully Stumpy's going to get a view of that. And you see a little aluminum horseshoe thing? That's what we're popping out. And you can do that, remove this, by putting in a screwdriver into one side, and this one works better, and just tap it out from this side. Where's our little hammer? Tap, 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 tap. And there it comes. All right, that valve block is the first thing we're removing. That is a lot of air pressure, all right? So we're going to go ahead and close this back up. And then we're going to start reassembly on this weapon. And guys, honestly, I've got the valve. We could insert the valve if we really wanted to, but I really want to see what kind of improvement we got just off doing that one small mod. Because if it's that easy, guys, save yourself the 40 or 50 bucks on the mod kit. But all right, so we're going to go ahead and reassemble this here. So we're going to put our rubber gasket on and put our... Now, there is a valve right here, guys. That is also something that is in the that Power Kit 50, but I don't think we're going to need it. Not for the power we're going to get out of this. All right, guys. So we're going to put that back in there. Once again, hold everything together because it's going to push tight. And get her in there and get her into place just like that. There you go. And make sure it's sat all the way down, guys, before you let go of that, or it will absolutely fly. There you go. Now, at this point, so you don't forget, get your spring again. I'm going to try to bring this up to Stumpy so I can show him. That spring right there has got to be lifted up and put over this little hook right here on this side. All right? So I'm going to put it down so I don't have anything go flying on me. So I'm going to hold the spring down on one side. I'm going to lift it up on the other, and I'm going to put it up over that little hook. There we go. Up, and it is tight, by the way. All right, so just like that, guys. I'm going to point that back up here so you can see what it looks like. That little tiny spring right there is the whole thing. So once we got that back in place and everything is set up here, we can go ahead and put our top back on. Now, guys, honestly, I am seriously holding hope that we do not have to change that other valve. I really don't think we're going to have to. All right, we're going to line these up. There's a metal pin you're lining up to, guys, and that pin, once you get it on, you'll be able to slide this entire thing into place. And it is tight, by the way. I mean, when you push it, you'll feel the pressure. All right, once you've got it all pushed back down together, guys, you'll see your seams all good there. And we're going to go ahead and tighten down all of those screws again. Now, they weren't super tight to begin with, so I'm not going to use any kind of Loctite or anything. But I am going to do like a stagger screw down on these things so they're tighter. There we go. So I'll go front to back, front to back, front to back. Not that that really matters because it actually does not. But at least in this case, it shouldn't. All right, once you got all your screws back in there, you can make sure your mechanism's still working, and it looks like it's working fine right now. Everything is good. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to reassemble the gun completely now, and then we're going to test that seal. If my theory is correct, this should hold pressure. Once we pressurize this, it should hold pressure right away without a problem. If my theory is incorrect, we're going to have to put the nozzle guide in here that came with the Power Kit 50. So let's take a look and see if that is the case. All right, so we're going to go ahead and reassemble our weapon. Take our spring, and our spring goes in here. This goes into the notch. And honestly, guys, I kind of wish if I had had the kit to go ahead and put a longer barrel on this, I probably would have, but I don't, so we're not going to get too froggy about that. All right, and we're going to go ahead and reassemble the top to the bottom. There we go. And now we're going to put in all of our pins again. Now remember the reverse order, guys. So the pins, when you're putting it back together, go in from the other side. And if you look at this, guys, see how this is smooth and this side is ridged? Well, that's exactly how all those pins are. So you want to make sure that you replace them in the exact reverse order that you took them out. And I don't want to bang the gun if we can avoid it. So what I want to do, bang the gun, cute. There we go. And this is the trigger. Once again, the ridges are toward me when we're reassembling here. Okay. And guys, it goes in very easily, actually. I'm kind of surprised. I should say pleasantly surprised, because I didn't know what it was going to be like. But, yes, this is my first upgrade on this weapon for you guys. Here we go. And one more for the grip. Go. And we'll flatten that out. There we go. And one more on this side. Didn't quite like how that's not quite flat. Oh, there we go. And one more on the slide. There we go. So you see why we keep the paper there, guys? It's just real easy. That way you don't have to think about it when you're reassembling this thing. Because you get to this point, you're starting to think, I can't wait to fire it. And there we go. And this one went through a little bit too much, so we're going to flatten him back out here. Just a fudge. We want to even it out. Now, honestly, you know, I thought about using any kind of a Loctite or anything like that for this, just for the purpose of being able to reassemble this thing and take it apart to clean it and oil it. And if you want to reverse the mod, you got to be able to get it apart. So I wouldn't put anything that actually seals those pins in. But this thing doesn't recoil, so you don't get a whole lot of jump anyway. All right, next phase. Let's put a C02 cartridge in it and see if it holds pressure. Here we go. I tell you, honestly, guys, I don't know what to expect here. Without the valve kit in the bottom here, which actually regulates the flow and limits how much goes into the chamber, this could fire once and then just blow all the CO2 out. Like, if you'll remember the first time we did the, well, actually, I think I told you about it on the HDR50. That's the only thing I did was remove it, but it was the wrong valve block, and I removed it out of the 7.5 Joule, and it just went, pow, the first round, and there just went pop, 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 and dumped all the CO2. So it was kind of pointless. All right, so let's see if we get the same thing out of this. This will definitely tell us the tale right now. Did I put one in? All right. So we're going to go ahead and put our CO2 cartridge in, nozzle down. Oh, almost forgot our Pell gun oil. You guys let me forget the Pell gun oil? Shame on you. All right. Once again, guys, I am really sorry for these stumpy shots. I hope whoever stole my camera needed it a lot worse than we did. That's all I can say. All right, so we're going to put that in. Here we go. Let's see if we can charge it. And the first thing is to see if this pops out. Here we go. It did. And I don't hear any leaking at all, guys. Ooh, baby. You know what? A part of me wants to just fire it dry. But no, you know what? Let's do it right. Let's go out onto the range. Let's try this thing out. And let's see how it compares to the chrono readings we got last time. Here we go. All right, guys. So just like last time, we've got the chrono set up here. I changed the angle a little bit, so hopefully I can hit this without like aiming right past the camera. But you remember where we were at before. So this is our telltale right now. Let's see where we're at this time. I have no idea what's about to happen. Let's try this out and just see if I can get anything off the chrono. What the? Guys, I don't know if you heard that or not. $483, $500. Holy cow. $473 and out. I'm going to load up some more rounds. Dude, just by doing that one mod, we almost doubled the power out of this thing. Hold on, let's do it again. And we're going to use the exact same one. I got 5 more ready here. Because what I'm curious to see is how many shots we get out of this cartridge running full blast like that. All right, here we go. We're going to keep on going from way back here. 473. 470. Guys, and there's the drop off. 295 and 343. All right, so holy cow. Dude, that was insanity. Did you guys see the difference in the velocity on that thing? That literally went from where it was hitting in the mid 300s up to 500 just by removing the valve. We got 10 shots out of it. The 10th shot was a little on the weak side, but all the other ones were hitting bam, 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 bam. If you own that weapon and your primary use for this is self-defense, either at home or you're carrying it, do that mod. It's super simple, and forget the Power Kit 50. It's a waste of money. You don't need it. This does everything you need it to do. Wow. Well, guys, let me move back into the studio here, and we'll talk a little bit more about this mod. Holy cow. Be right back. So, guys, once again, if you have got the HDP50, this is a sub-$100 gun, and you have got the, if you watch the video and follow it, do that mod. That instantly becomes one of the most powerful guns that we've actually fired here. It might fire pepper balls at that rate of speed, but I think it's just as likely to blow them up in the barrel. But the impact was insane, guys. You saw the chrono. The proof is in the pudding, right? You saw what it did. Do that mod. It's very simple, guys. I hope I have made this easy enough for you guys to follow. It is as easy as I made it look, I promise you. But once again, I've only seen 2 other people that actually did this mod, and both the videos sucked. So I really wanted you guys to have something that you could follow. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That was a fun one. I really enjoyed that. Oh, are you noticing something else on the stage? Well, you don't get to know what that is yet because we haven't shot the video. It's coming up soon. Have a great night and a fantastic week, guys. And if I don't talk to you sooner, have a great weekend. Bye-bye.